Everything we do, every day, is for your health. We bring our minds to the most complex challenges to put your mind at ease. We put our hearts into our work to teach, to discover, to heal. Upstate, bringing our hearts and minds together for you.
Hey, job seekers, welcome to episode 15 of the JobsPlus JobsCast. The JobsCast is our virtual job fair where the premise is pretty simple. We're just going to check in with a local employer that has some immediate openings. And we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit and chat with some insiders that have perspective on culture, pay, hours, benefits, and more. If at any point you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat. We're going to do our best to answer it by the time we're done. I want you to meet Associate Administrator for Support Services at Upstate Medical University in the Materials Management Department, Stephanie Shattuck. And Stephanie, you've got a few guests with us today. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you have with you, and anyone, if you want to answer, why are you at Upstate? What do you love about being there?
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm Stephanie Shattuck, as introduced, and I brought three of my managers with me. I have Aaron White, who is our operations manager at our warehouse. I have Don Sadakis, who is our manager, or actually director of distribution services. And I have Brian Reed, who is our director of central patient services. So gentlemen, you chime in as to why you love Upstate. I'm going to let you guys take the show.
Oh, that's easy. For me, it's a great opportunity to help our community, to do what's good for the patient. And there's a lot of room for growth. Just a great overall place. We have a great group here, especially in materials. We work very, very well together. We lean on each other. So great opportunities.
I've been here 18 years, and I find it to be a place where every day when you go home, you have that sense of accomplishment, that you help the medical staff take care of people, and every day you're learning something new. And the campus is always growing, and there's always the opportunity for advancement and the opportunity to learn more. And it's great to bring new members onto the team.
And as far as myself, I've been here at Upstate for 2 years, but my entire background for the last 20 has been shipping and logistics. And what I find different with Upstate is although we're a 24/7 hospital, especially in the supply chain and materials, you do have that downtime where you're not tied at work and constantly worried about checking your phone and worried about the next day. To Don's point, you can come in, you do your job, you feel great, you go home, and then you have that work-life balance.
And then I'm the new kid on the block. I have not been here yet 11 months now, not quite a full year. And I think the thing that I really enjoy most about working here, it's the camaraderie in the team. I came in the throes of the pandemic, and we had a lot of things we had to do, but I'll tell you, the team that I work with are exceptional. These folks are dedicated. We get the job done, but we also have fun, and we enjoy each other, and we support each other. And, you can throw any problem your way at us, but when you have that level of camaraderie, that commitment, it makes it all worthwhile. And we can solve just about any problem thrown our way.
That's great. That's great. It's so good to hear perspectives from kind of the newbie to somebody who's been there, 18 plus years. So it's really great to hear kind of the different perspectives from each of you. And I know some of you may be thinking, didn't we already talk to Upstate before? Yes, we did talk to environmental services, but Upstate is such a big animal. We kind of wanted to break it into a few different departments. And so today we're talking to, as I said, materials management. And you guys have a number of roles that you're hiring for there. So give us an idea of what those roles are. And if you could just break down, what they look like day to day.
I can go ahead and start on that one if you don't mind. So in my area right now, we're hiring for what we call supply assistants in the equipment service department. Our day-to-day operations are basically just getting equipment to and from the units. Nursing uses a very nice, slick application where they order the equipment that's needed for the patient. And our staff working mobily using iPhones gets the product delivered to them. And then in turn, we bring back any soiled equipment that needs to be cleaned again. The two positions we have are first shift, which is 7 a.m. to 3:30. That is rotating past days and weekends. And we have second shift, which is 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Same thing, rotating past days and weekends. We have an extraordinary group. All of them work very, very well together. Excellent customer service skills. And the nursing staff really appreciates what they do on a day-to-day basis.
That's great. Any other roles that you have?
As far as the warehouse and operations go out here on Ainsley Drive, we have currently 2, but soon to be 3 supply assistants. Same title, but different role. Essentially, you're a order picker, like any other warehouse picking orders. The hours out here are 8 to 4:30. So day shift hours for a warehouse setting is something unique to Upstate. If you go anywhere else, you'd be working second, third shift, and that's not ideal essentially for family and whatnot. But the orders come across the hospital and we fill them same day, and they get right up there to the patients and the nurses that need them. And that's that whole idea. At the end of the day, you can see what you've accomplished and, walk out with a smile.
And in central distribution, I have 3 positions available. One's on a day shift. It's days and every other weekend, 7 to 3:30. I have 2 on second shift, which is third shift from 11 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Again, rotating past days and weekends.
Looks like Don may have froze. We can come back to him in a minute.
Cardiac arrest, so on and so forth.
Oh, no worries. No worries. We will, anything we miss when we post this onto our website, we'll be happy to add in these roles and what we can about each position. So thanks for that. Anything else that we haven't hit on yet in terms of the roles that you have open?
I can speak for Don just a little bit. Again, we all work very closely together and help each other out. So in distribution,
every day.
Oh, there's Don. He's back.
Don, we missed you for about 30 seconds there or so. So we're gonna see if Brian can fill in. Maybe he's got a better connection for you.
Yeah, so in distribution, Don has a great group. They are kind of like the lifeblood of the hospital in the way that we function. They get critical items to the units, such as IV solutions, such as syringes. It's a full gamut of what they do. Very, very vital. They do carts that are used for life-saving. So extremely, extremely appreciated department. Very, very much needed. And it's a great opportunity to know you go home every single day with that passion that you really made a big difference in people's lives. So again, distribution, great group that Don has over there.
Great. We're seeing some of that camaraderie in action, you guys covering for one another, which is great to see. These sound some really great jobs here. In terms of what kind of education, requirements or assessments are needed to get into these roles?
I believe all of these are very, very similar. We all basically high school education or GED, the ability to come in every single day, do a great job. Starting pay, I know for my staff is around $29,000 per year. With excellent benefits. Our retirement is phenomenal. Our vacation time is phenomenal. This is something that you come to. It's not just a year-to-year job. This is a life. This is a career. And sticking with it, knowing the growth, this is one of the most positive paths you can take, in my opinion, not just in New York, but probably the country. We're a very large corporation, very large hospital, I should say, and it doesn't get much better benefits than this.
And one other thing we can add too is people, once you come into materials management and work for us, you have the opportunity to advance within the hospital writ large. I know several of these gentlemen have had employees that have had those types of opportunities. So, Aaron, if you would like to speak to that, please go right ahead.
Yeah, so employees not only just come off the street and come into a state role, but we also have a bunch of temp players that come in. And it's sort of like it's an idea of what's going on. So a lot of our promotions and upward movement come from maybe starting either as the supply assistant or even as a temp off the street. and they move into the supply role with the state. And then they might also switch departments and move into a like a sterile tech or a supervisor role. I know Brian's had some good success in his department also. But the warehouse too, supply assistant is an entry level. So we don't expect people to stay out here with us for 4, 5, 10 years. We understand that it's a training role. You get your grip on what's going on and how Upstate operates, and then we're more than happy to help you along the way and move onward and upward. Or even a lateral if it's something you want to try different. By all means, we're used to the idea of, hey, I'm thinking about trying this out, or my significant other's job changed, so I need to change my shift. What's out there for me? So we're very, very versatile and accepting on what our roles are here.
Because no matter where you go, you're still part of the Upstate family.
Great. We did have a question come in from the audience. I'm going to kind of put it up here on the screen for everybody, but talking about patient interaction, is there any direct interaction that these positions have with patients?
I will say for my departments, there are many times when there's a request from nursing for a piece of equipment, we do drop off to room level. And there are many times that the patients will thank us for our help. Sometimes they'll share some quick little stories with us. So while we're not putting our hands directly on the patient, we do have direct interaction with patients at times, and it's very rewarding. I'll have people come back to the department and tell stories in the past of some of the great conversations they had with these patients and how appreciative they were.
And from the warehouse side, if someone's thinking in terms of the environment that we're in right now, we do not have any direct patient interaction. We're on our own island out here, but we serve a very significant and important role to where you do have that separation. So if you have any anxieties of what we're doing right now, out here is the place to be.
That's great. So we have a variety of options. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, distribution, we're up on the floors constantly, but we're not direct patient care. We do see patients, we do pass them, but we're mostly behind the scenes inside the clean and med supply rooms, making sure the clinical staff has what they need.
That's great. Let's shift over into from application to onboarding. Overall, what does that look like over at Upstate?
Well, you can go ahead and go to our Upstate online or careers at upstate.edu, and you can apply for these positions right online. And if you are selected to come in for an interview, you'll be brought in for an interview. And if you're successful in that interview and become a potential employee, you'll be required to do a background check and a drug test. And then you'll be asked later for references, so we can get some information on your previous work experience. If you stay in contact with your recruiter and follow their instructions and complete required tasks quickly, usually you can start working within 2 to 3 weeks.
Looks like it's pretty quick and easy to get through that process. So in terms of, sorry, go ahead. Oh, maybe it's just feedback from me. Sorry. So I know you mentioned that there were some growth opportunities, and already mentioned that many of you have kind of moved up from original positions. What are, in terms of opportunities, what are people typically moving up into? Where are they coming from? What does that movement kind of look like?
For equipment service and transport, so for the supply assistant that we hire in, we currently have hired, and just in the past 2 years, we've hired 10 supply assistants, and out of those 10 supply assistants, 5 of them have already moved into tech positions currently, and 2 of them have moved on to other departments to be technicians, and that's sterile supply techs. So the movement and growth there is phenomenal. We also had a temporary employee that was promoted into a state supply assistant. Within 1 year was promoted to a technician. And now after 1.5 years, we're very happy to have him on board as a supervisor of our second shift. So for us, we have a lot of internal growth and slightly external into sterile processing.
That's great. And for some of those roles, is there additional training involved that they receive kind of prior going into those roles, or how does that look?
So for our technicians, they do get training. When we hire them, if they don't already have a certification for sterile processing, we do assist them in getting through it. We help them with the training, and then they do have to take a test. So we're doing everything we can to help them be successful on that. As for supervisors, once we hire somebody into a supervisor or leadership role, we do everything we can to get them into leadership courses. Upstate has phenomenal leadership courses to sign up for, and even external classes. We will send people to external to really get them that deep dive into leadership roles.
Great. And what are some of the kind of perks and benefits of I know you mentioned a couple of those things, so it just kind of spurred some questions in my mind of, what can somebody walking into the door at Upstate kind of expect in terms of, benefits and training and additional opportunities?
Well, I know right off the bat you have the vacation, sick, and personal time. The supply assistant roles are a CSEA role with the union. So you also have the side benefits that the union provides, but also there's the educational side of it. So I believe the CSEA allots for a certain amount for one class per semester, one class per year, as far as being able to take your choice from a university. So it's the whole idea that while you're here working at entry level, you could be advancing yourself. Also, the benefits too is while you're here, we get to learn your face and your work ethic, so that if you do end up doing the New York State Civil Service test, then you can, once you start seeing positions that require that, you can test out for positions that give you a higher salary grade and more advancement through that.
That's great.
Yes, for training, John, we do bring people in, especially in the supply assistant or technician position. We try to make sure people have at least 1 month of hands-on training with somebody who's been here for years. That way they can kind of show them all the ins and outs of why we do something, explain it to them in detail so it makes sense and why that's important. And then once we feel that they're comfortable and they have the layout of the hospital and they have the layout of the department and they feel comfortable with what they're doing, we send them out on we say their own, but it's we still have somebody beside them, but they're only assisting when needed. So there is a lot of extensive training.
We also have a lot of technology here. So after they get done with their training and everything and they're out and about, we have a system called Vocera, so they can be in constant communication with their supervisors and coworkers at all times in case they need any assistance.
That's great. I want to thank you guys for joining us on the JobsCast today. Anything that we missed, anything you want to close out with that maybe we didn't get a chance to cover quite yet?
I would just say we're a great team and love to have people join us. So please consider us for some opportunities. And thank you so much for allowing us to come in and live stream with you and share these opportunities with you. So thank you again.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to just kind of quickly remove you guys from the screen, but stick around in the green room for just a moment and I'll come back to you after we're done here. But if your brain was kind of telling you that you were interested in, some of the employment opportunities that are available through Upstate Materials Management, I want to encourage you, go ahead, apply online, but contact your job coach and let them know that you're interested in one of the roles that Stephanie and her team shared here. If your brain, for whatever reason, just put up a roadblock and said, this sounds really great, but I have this issue, I have this thing I can't seem to overcome, that's a signal for you to hit up your job coach and let them know what you're thinking. Explain the barrier that you're facing to your coach. Our coaches are barrier breakers. They will help you and to just kind of sit down and solve those problems. So if you're work limited, you have a legal issue in your past, you're just trying to figure out, something like childcare, reach out to your coach. They will work with you on a solution. We have a direct line to talk to Stephanie and to any of these folks who we can help kind of understand the job better. Maybe you just have a further question that you were afraid to ask on the JobsCast and through the comments. Let your job coach know. We will find the answers for you. If you don't know how to reach your coach, visit our job seeker page on our website, jobsplus.org/jobseekers. That's jobsplus.org/jobseekers. and scroll all the way to the bottom. There's a form there. You can leave a message, and I will make sure personally that gets right out to your coach, and you can ask that question. They can get in touch with you. Otherwise, go on to upstate.edu/jobs. Click on that skilled trade, general labor, and cleaning button, and the jobs there are going to be listed with materials management warehouse, and they will be available there for you to kind of review each job that we went over today and to be able to apply. But before I let you go, I want to make a request. If you found this content helpful, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button on the platform you're watching this on. If it is YouTube, I'd encourage you to click on the bell to be reminded when we have future live streams or when we just upload new content. You can find all of our social media at the top and bottom of JobsPlus, so give us a like or follow over there. But one thing I do want to point out is our job seeker group on Facebook. This group is exclusively for JobsPlus job seekers and alumni of our program. So join that group. There's a couple questions you'll need to answer, but once you're approved, you'll begin to see a steady stream of job opportunities of the employers that we are working with, like Upstate, to specifically help you get through those application processes. Beyond that, you can just simply ask some questions on the group, network within the group, share some of your own job opportunities. You're not going to want to pass this up. And lastly, I just want to invite you out to our next JobsCast, which is going to be with Burn Dairy, their ultra plant and their cold storage. We'll be talking to them live next Friday at 2 p.m. And I really hope that you'll join us for that. But for now, let's get to work.